Welcome to Transform Now, the podcast brought to you by robotic process automation pioneer Blue Prism. Digital transformation has the potential to reshape the way companies service their customers, engage their employees, and manage their operations. Whether you're looking to develop strategies, tactics, and best practices to positively impact the future of work, or you're curious to learn how other companies have successfully navigated their digital transformation programs, then this podcast is for you. We're here to help you transform now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Hairston with Blue Prism. Welcome to the Transform Now podcast. Today, I am very happy to have as my guest, Erik Lien, the CEO of RPA Supervisor, a Norway-based software company and a Blue Prism partner. I will be talking with Erik about how his company, RPA Supervisor, drives transformation by automating and optimizing RPA operations and integrations. Erik, welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Brad. It's great to be here.
So why don't you introduce yourself to us before we dive into our conversation?
Sure. So my personal journey with Blue Prism started back in 2013 when I read about RPA and Blue Prism in The Economist. That immediately caught my attention, and I started my first implementation a few months later. I loved that so much that I co-founded a consulting business focusing on RPA and Blue Prism in particular. So over the next couple of years, I was involved in more than 40 implementations of Blue Prism and loved the feeling of being able to fix problems and not just point them out, and sort of transforming business one process at a time, with sort of weeks apart. What we saw, however, when we started scaling it and then they matured their RPA journey, was that we had problems scaling as quickly as we wanted to. And certainly our customers wanted to. And so we went back to Blue Prism and said, are there any things we can do to make it easier for the operational side that would assist in this? And we had lots of conversations with Dave Moss, founder of Blue Prism, and the product team on this. And in the end, it was actually Dave Moss who said, you know what your customers want, you know what you want. Why don't you become a technical alliance partner, build your supervisor, and we'll work together. And that's exactly what we did.
You must have been one of our first technology alliance partners, I'm guessing. Is that correct?
We were certainly the first to be an integration partner, reselling partner, training partner, and technical alliance partner.
Yeah. Very good. Well, organizations everywhere, as you know, have implemented RPA to create an intelligent digital workforce. And this workforce has proven to be instrumental in driving digital transformation. However, the management of these digital workforces has remained a largely manual task. Can you start us off by helping us understand at a high level what RPA Supervisor is?
So the initial things we wanted to solve with RPA Supervisor was to make RPA more business oriented and value driven, and at the same time make the operational part as easy as possible, and effectively making so the expectations of RPA solution should be the same as any other solution. It should just work. Once you provide the inputs and so on, it should deliver all of that seamlessly and stable and 24/7. So we changed it. So we created what we call intelligent orchestration. The next step was to automate all operational sides, adding analytics, reporting, and a notification center. And the last of our four pillars, if you like, is dynamic integration. But it all started out with that intelligent orchestration, which is AI-based orchestration or AI orchestration based on business SLAs. So the important thing is to get the robots to work as intelligently as human would, in that they see what they need to prioritize when. If there's something wrong with the system, they'll start working on another system and so on. So that took part of that integration and driving or delivering on the SLAs that everyone's been promising the business.
Interesting. So let's take it a level deeper now. Tell us how RPA Supervisor works? What are the key functions that it provides?
Yeah, I'll have to revert to those four pillars, if you like. So the orchestration, operation, analytics, reporting, and dynamic integration. So I mentioned how the intelligent orchestration is based on SLAs, and it will stop and start processes and so on an ongoing basis based on what the different robots can do, their health and status, and the actual incoming work. And it can be triggered in a multiple ways. The automated operations means it's handling all events that are currently handled by controllers and IT department. So such as robot machines underperforming or crashing even, logging in and out robot users, processes terminating or not starting or even freezing. And in that way, creating a stable platform that will run 24/7 without human intervention. That just optimizes what the current estate you have. So it makes it more higher SLAs, more stable, and more efficient. And with the analytics reporting and notification center, you get that single view into your operations, and it's very customizable. So we get to introduce or provide information to all the stakeholders of RPA. So if it's IT, center of excellence, the business, the top management, and so on. And it gives you information on the utilization, the value it creates, any issues there might be. And if there are issues that cannot be handled by the supervisor, it will send notifications. So any user in the organization can subscribe to those notifications. And all of this is part of actually optimizing the world as it is, so to speak, in another scale. And I'm sure we'll get back to that. The dynamic integration it's a integration platform. So it combines human and digital workers into one workforce and seamlessly integrating that combined workforce with all of the new AI solutions coming in the market now and the existing IT systems. And so the integration itself, you can have many platforms for. It's the dynamic nature of it. So it's the SLA-driven orchestration that drives or makes it so powerful and drives transformation.
So what have proven to be the most significant benefits that companies have realized from having this AI-driven orchestration through RPA Supervisor?
So I think the benefits need to be looked at in three categories. It's the operational benefits, so the immediate benefits, then the scaling benefits, how it drives or allows and supports scaling, and then it's the transformational benefits that comes later on. So we typically see organizations being interested in RPA Supervisor. They look at the immediate problems they have, which are the operational side. So the benefits of no more scheduling, planning, and orchestration is done automatically is great. I mean, it gives you a 50% increased capacity, much higher SLA or improved SLA, 75% reduction at least in manual RPA operational effort or FTEs. And then you just get a stable digital workforce. And those benefits are immediate. You get them as soon as you onboard your processes. And that's what they're looking to achieve originally. The scaling benefits is as soon as you realize the operational benefits, you see that you've removed all the elements that's holding back scaling. So what we see is what organizations really want is to scale, or then transformation. And they don't see that the operational stuff or how much the operational issues are holding them back. And we've got lots of customers in that phase now who are scaling very rapidly with this. We do actually have a few customers we work with closely with Blue Prism on that see the scaling benefits even before they start implementing RPA Supervisor. So we're working with MedScheme or Afrocentric Group with a Blue Prism. A Blue Prism, we've been working with them for a long time to see how they can achieve that scaling that they've been wanting to do because they had clear goals on that. But they can sort of get around the issues they had. So with RPA Supervisor, and they've been going for 4 years, they've been scaling fairly, successfully, but they're now on course and committed almost to increase their intelligent automation by more than 500% over the next few years. And they're attributing that to RPA Supervisor to a large extent. That's the enabler. Another good example, I think, of that is Cisco Foods in the US, who bought it for the operational benefits. And since then have scaled massively and are now saving millions of dollars in savings on their intelligent automation, which they weren't able to do without optimizing their operations. Another example I can mention is a global retailer that grew their automations threefold over a 14-month period without increasing their operational team at all. And they're just now starting to look into that transformational journey and adding all of those other AI solutions and integrating with the rest of their IT infrastructure. So that's really cool. And then we'll get to the transformational benefits and maybe we'll talk more about it. But what we've done in that sense is we've got an integrated human in the loop for that easy conversation between human and robots. Got public APIs for the easy integration, and we're building connectors and got connectors to the Microsoft Power Automate platform and lots of other AI solution and automation platforms to make that really easy. And again, it's the integrations you can find everywhere. It's that dynamic SLA-based orchestration that makes the huge difference and allows you to become to that. So that's why Gartner, for instance, have called us the hyper-automation orchestrator. Sources for Sources called it, of course, the one office orchestrator.
Erik, a lot of companies that have begun intelligent automation journeys at some point make a decision that they need to take things to the next level. They want to scale, they want to grow their footprint, and something like RPA Supervisor, as you described, can really facilitate that. So at what point do you think RPA Supervisor makes the most sense for a company? Is it essential from the very beginning at the foundational level, or is it something that really only makes sense if a company is serious about intelligent automation? They want to use it to transform the company and it becomes an enabler to them doing so.
Most organizations don't know what they don't know. And RPA is still maturing, is still young. And so we've just come to believe, or the market come to believe, that this is the way operations done. It's done manually. You need to watch over your robots manually and do all of that. Well, that's not the case. But it's at a certain level of maturity that you really see or feel the pain and see the consequences. We, of course, advise everyone to start with RPA Supervisor or working towards operational excellence as soon as possible, as early as possible. And I mean, our smallest customer, we've only got one Blue Prism license, but the largest got hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
From what we see with customers, it's when they see the pain. They should be looking at this from the start because they would then avoid the pain and they could scale faster from the start. But certainly once you get to 20, 30, 40 processes, that's when most organizations see that if all of this was automated, I can do a lot more and more efficiently.
Okay. Erik, do you find that RPA Supervisor also improves visibility into the performance of the digital workforce for leadership who typically are not aware? That's something I've seen quite often. A company has been doing intelligent automation for years, and yet when you get to the C-suite, there's just not much awareness of what has been going on and the benefits and the transformational change that's happening. So does your platform help solve that to a degree?
Is it interesting question, but yes, it does. It's one of the important factors, and it's interesting how the different RPA stakeholders view RPA and what's important with operational excellence. I mean, top management, to them, the reporting is more important than the operational efficiency in many cases, because that's what they see. It's all they have time for. So because our dashboarding and reporting is flexible and customizable, and it's web-based, we make dashboards available to whatever level you're at, and they make C-level reporting and should I say, focus increase, and not just C-level, but all the way through when you can provide the information they want. So at a C-level, you typically want to see the value created and the service level and so on. Supervisor, you get all of that sort of live, real-time insight, which gives more focus on a business and subject matter expert level. When they have full insight and they see that you can now deliver SLAs down to 1 minute on work, so it means there's lots more demand-driven scaling. So they see the opportunity to automate a lot more than when the SLA is for 2 hours or 24 hours.
Okay. Erik, in what industries has RPA Supervisor made the most headway thus far? And where do you think the most growth will come from in the coming years?
I guess we're following in the footsteps of RPA in general. So I think we cover about almost every vertical you can think of an industry, but finance is high on the agenda. So it's wherever RPA is big, RPA Supervisor is big. And it doesn't really matter. To some extent, finance organizations do have one more element that they focus more on than the others, and that's the compliance and the stability, the fact that you can deliver always. That becomes more powerful because the potential penalties of not delivering on SLAs to the market is so big. So that is slightly different from a finance market to the rest of the market. And going forward, yeah, I'd like to turn the question to you, but going forward, I think BPOs will be very interesting going forward. What's the sort of robotics as a service take up? How will everyone going to the cloud impact RPA and the management of them? So, I mean, we started out as optimizing RPA. We're evolving now more and more to becoming an automation management platform and not only RPA. We've seen scaling through this horrible COVID situation. I think when we get back from that and back to normal, and we get to sit together and realize how much we've done with automation and scaling in this period, how much more we can do and how we can not just automate to remove some of the problems of getting people to do the job, but actually to improve our business and drive new businesses based on that automation. So I think we've only seen the start of what RPA can offer. And I think with tools like RPA Supervisor, making RPA so much more stable and deliver on the SLAs that's required in today's business, I think RPA will increase the uptake. Certainly what we've seen with our customers is that they do scale a lot faster.
Yeah, your company certainly has a really interesting perspective of the market from where you sit and the space that you're in. And I think you're right. Moving RPA to the cloud is going to be the norm before too long. That's where most companies are already going or have gone. I think this idea of robotics as a service is another huge trend, and more companies are looking for the ability to do intelligent automation in more of a SaaS offering, and also leveraging a third party to not only build, but maintain and own and provide the automation capability. So I would expect you guys from the RPA Supervisor standpoint are watching these trends very closely and folding that into your thoughts and plans for where you take the product.
Absolutely. And it's been an interesting journey. So for instance, we were a bit concerned with how efficient RPA Supervisor was. So Blue Prism is, of course, technical alliance partner. We've been working closely all the way. And then we see how much more efficient we make the robots. Initially, we were wondering if there was some sort of a mismatch in our goals and what we wanted. But we quickly saw that because of the scaling opportunities or removing the hindrance of scaling, we actually drive automation to level that Blue Prism and others can't do without RPA Supervisor. So we're actually totally sort of in line with that. That was a relief at the time to see that we still wanted the best for our customers and it benefits everyone.
Well, Erik, you've mentioned several things that RPA Supervisor can do for companies that are in this intelligent automation journey. The two that really stick out to me are operational excellence and improving a company's ability to scale. effectively. Those are two areas that every company doing RPA could benefit from. So I think this has been really informative and very interesting to hear about your product and just the great progress that it has made since inception. So thank you for being on with us and sharing about RPA Supervisor. Really appreciate your time, and be well.
Thank you very much, Brad. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to Transform Now. For more insightful discussions on digital transformation and more, check out our podcast channel where you'll find all of our previous episodes. To make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a review. For more information about digital transformation and the future of work, check out blueprism.com to learn how Blue Prism's digital workforce is enabling enterprise transformation now.